the part of the benefits. We're very close. We should see some type of movement with the benefits within the next few months. That is where we're at. They agreed to our third party administration, so we should be moving forward with that. We will definitely keep you guys posted as to the progress we're making with that. Um, Again, we have some. We also, when it comes to DEP, you have your contract is over. We're entering into negotiations this Tuesday. We're looking at trying to resolve the past arbitration and the new round of collective bargaining. So far, the minor talks we've been having with them, they seem to be okay, and they seem to be cordial, and we seem to be on the same page. But I'm quite sure we're going to have to debate and argue and negotiate certain aspects of the contract. But they know what we're looking for. The bottom line is that we're looking to be reach parity as much as possible with NYPD. That's our goal. We want to reach as much parity as we possibly can. The arbitrator decision has awarded us parity when it comes to rate, when it comes to rates, and that's very important. I want everybody to understand that. When it comes to rates, that don't mean if they're making 100, they bring us to 100. But if they get a 10%, 11%, we're entitled.
It's blocking what roads?
Say that again.
Someone's mic is open.
We need everybody to have their camera.
Devon, mute everybody.
All right, I got it. I'll mute him. I got it.
Divine's microphone is extremely loud too. He's
It
distorted.
is. It is.
It's loud.
It's
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very loud. All right. You done, D? Devon?
Yeah, I got it.
All right. So with that being said, I think we're entering into a ground of negotiations on a fair platform. I'm quite sure we will come out, I would say, victorious in what we're trying to do. We just want everybody to understand where we're at, what's going on, and that, patience is a virtue. We didn't get this predicament overnight, and we're not going to get out of it overnight, but we're pushing to have this thing done as fast as we possibly can. We're looking at fixing the LODI, the line of duty policy, because right now it's there, but there's no clear articulation of what it means in the process, and the process is not clear. We want to clear that up. We want to make sure that you guys get, they can't say 18 months, but you never get 18 months. So we're trying to work with them and negotiate a policy that is conducive to the line of duty policy. You can't say line of duty and you get up to 18 months, but after 2 months, they're trying to force people back. So we're going to work hard and vigorously on resolving that problem. Because listen, some people are forced to come back with a disability. Some people are forced to come back sometime they're still in pain. That shouldn't be. That shouldn't be. And we're going to fight vigorously to make sure that they understand that. And we're going to try to resolve that problem as soon as possible. I'm going to speak about some certain things. I'm going to finish off, and then we're going to open it up because I want to make sure we stick to a strict time frame, because between Laquan and Devon, they're going to kill me if we keep going over. So we want to make sure we keep everything as stringent as we possibly can. Delegates. All right, I want to talk about delegates. We have a delegate enrollment. If someone feels they want to be a delegate to represent members, they have to let us know. We just don't know because you say it. We know it because you put it in writing. In the future, well, very soon, we're implementing electoral policies. What I mean by that is, if someone wants to be a delegate and someone else is a delegate, and we want to do an election, people formally write it in. They want to be a delegate. We have an election. But I will tell you this. If you elect somebody to be delegate because they're your friend, just because they're your friend,
Let's take I-678 North Van Wyck Expressway.
All right, I don't know who that is. Could you cut that off? All right. If when this process is in place, and if you elect a delegate just because that's your friend, not because they know what they're doing, no disrespect to everybody, but you're a new fool. This is not about friendship. This is about your livelihood. This is about business. This is about making sure you have a good first line defense moving forward until it gets to us. Now we're going to ask the delegates. There's going to be a process that delegates go through. The delegates take it as far as they can within the department, and when they don't get no response, they're going to respond to the qualified person that's next until it gets to the board and we get the lawyers involved. We will go further into that later on, maybe in a delegate training course. But we're going to talk about that, which will be ran by Divine and Olivia. Olivia is the director, Divine's assistant director of the delegate training courses. So they will articulate and explain further how that goes when we go through the chain of command. But we need structure. We can't be all over the place, but we need good, strong people that's willing to be delegates. Delegate is just not a title and you walk around. To be a delegate, you're the first line defense for all members. You got to be willing to learn and they're willing to act to whatever it's going to be. So we welcome anybody that requires or does have a desire to be a delegate. All right, so that's important. So make sure everybody understand. We're looking for good delegates. If we have enough, then that's fine. If we need to train more, we will train them. Let me see. Okay, we have also built a relationship with DCAS. What that means is that we will get firsthand information when there's a test coming out, and we will gather material to help our members, and we will do online training classes to help them take the test. If it's not just our members, if it's new recruits and they want to come in and they need to know what to study for, we're going to give training classes. It's our new educational department. Basically, we want to arm our members and arm people with the qualifications to not just take these tests, but pass these tests. Now, I'm not going to guarantee you that our education department can give you everything that it is to pass the test. You have to apply yourself to, and the people that you recommend to take the test, they got to apply themselves to pass the test. Because we would like to get more knowledgeable people qualified to take this test, pass this test, and become members. So that's something that we worked out with DCAS, so we will know ahead of time in the newsletter and any information we will send out. You guys will know where we're going, what we're doing, what test is coming, when it's coming, how it's coming, and we will set up the the training classes to help you prepare for those classes. Membership enrollment. For those that are members that came out and they're new and they have not enrolled, this is very important. I'm not going to downplay it. If you're not signed in and you're not part of the union, you're not represented. I'm sorry. That's just the way it works. We don't set the rules. The city set the rules, and that's what it is. If people are telling you you should start a new job of this magnitude and not be represented by a union, they're misleading you. They're leading you down a path of destruction because, as we all know, the city can be shrewd. And it's not based on your qualities, it's based on whether somebody like you. That's a bad place to be in. If somebody don't like you, then they come up with unfavorable evaluations, whatever the case may be. You need representation that's going to be there and represent you. Some people say, well, you're not represented, you're not entitled to representation until you complete your
Probation.
Probation. Sorry.
Probation.
Yes, you're not. That's not true. When you pay your union dues, you're entitled to union representation as far as the union can go. You may not be entitled to the second, third step, depending on where everything is worded. But as a newcomer, and as a person on probation, you pay union dues, you're entitled to the basic fundamental representation that the union can give you. So I want to make sure people understand that. If you know people that are new members to the union and they have been misled, don't join the union. That's a terrible mistake, especially when you got families and you're trying to set your career straight. You need to make sure you have qualified and certified representation when you go before management. You're new to this. Management gets paid to do this every day. So they know how to undermine the situation. So it's best that you protect yourself in the best way you can by joining the union, signing the authorization card, becoming a member. If you choose later that you don't want to be a part of the union, that's a choice you make later. But I would strongly suggest that each and every member, new or old, if you're not having a card in, you need to sign one and put it in and protect yourself. That's very important because a lot of people be misled and they run into situations and they're not entitled to representation and they lose their job because they don't know what to do. Even long-term people, I've met people that with 20 years didn't know because they never had the situation before. You need to be protected. I cannot say that, I cannot stress that any stronger. We have a legal, a prepaid legal plan. For those that know, you can go on the website. If you're getting a divorce, you're buying a house, you have child care issues, or whatever the case may be, we have a legal plan for our members. Things that are not for free, everything is not for free, but some of the things that you may find, you will get a significant discount in doing so. And I would encourage you to take advantage of that. It's very good. I couldn't take advantage of it because I'm trying to do something in Delaware, but if it's in the city of New York and the state of New York, they can handle it. And a lot of times, that closing costs or that attorney fees can be astronomical, cost a lot. Let's utilize what's at your disposal, and it will definitely work for you. And I encourage people to use it. You never know when it comes to wills and things of that nature. If you want to do a will for your family, I encourage you to call it. It's on the website. It's Phil Seelig legal plan. Use that. We talked about membership enrollment. Now let's talk about health and safety. That's a very important part that I want to make sure everybody understands. A lot of times the agencies tell you don't have a right to refuse to do a job, but if it intrudes on your health and safety, you have a right to question. You have delegates there. You bring it to your delegates. You're going to, as I stated, you're going to be electing your delegates. If the delegate is not doing what they're going to do, you can always go to the supervisor delegate and EPOs. It's Yolanda. She's the recording secretary, and we will handle the situation. But it's very important that you understand a grievance versus a complaint and safety issue. A grievance is something that goes against your contract. If it's stated in the contract you shouldn't be doing something and they're doing it, that's a grievance. A complaint is something that's out of the contract, but you feel that there's something wrong with it. Safety is a whole nother issue. If something puts you in imminent danger and you feel that way, you have a right to bring your concern to the supervisors or whatever the case may be. And you have a right to refuse if it puts you in imminent danger, if you feel it puts you in imminent danger. And then you need to contact your delegate, and they will contact the board if need be, and we will determine the situation and we will address it with our attorneys, so forth and so on. So just be mindful of that. We will be conducting labor management meetings. For those that don't know what they are, some of them may have an idea. When we have overall issues, several issues, we call on management and we say, listen, we need to sit down, we need to discuss these issues. We sit down with the attorneys. We call in our attorneys, Phil Seelig and Raul Zausberg, and we sit down with them with their attorneys, and we discuss issues prior to them becoming official complaints or grievances to see if we can reach some type of resolution. We're going to try to do that because one of the things a lot of people don't know is that legal complaints and grievances take a long time. And if we can resolve them by a phone call, then that's what we want to do. We are heading in a new direction. It's going to be changes in the way we do business, because not saying that what we did was wrong, but this is the 21st century. We're moving forward. We're going to try to do different things a little differently. We can't meet with them personally, so we have to do Zoom meetings. It's a whole nother change in lifestyle. So we're trying to resolve as much as we can at a minimal and move forward, because we got other pressing things, like I said, like contract safety issues, Lodi, retirement. These are things that we have to deal with. Now, I mentioned retirement. I want to make sure you guys understand that is not something that could be dealt with just through negotiations. It's dealt with legislatively. So we're looking and we're dealing and reaching out to other legislative bodies to approve and agree and approve to us getting the similar package as NYPD and things of that nature. We will be discussing that in the future and as we move forward in the future. Again, this is something we have to sit down with our legal team, discuss, come to a course of action, and we will do it. But that's not part of negotiations. As part of negotiations, we need to get you the best that we can as far as monetary and other minor little things and get clarity on things. We want to do that. We want to make sure we get you as close to parity as possible. So with that being said, I'm going to open it up and I'm going to ask everybody to please be mindful and be respectful. Let a person complete their question and let them get a complete answer. We got a whole half an hour. It shouldn't take that long. If anybody have any questions, you ask your questions by raising a hand, or you speak first. You get a complete question, then you get a complete answer. If we can't answer it, we'll let you know exactly what we're going to do to answer your question in a timely fashion. Devon, could you open up, unmute everyone?
Yeah. Anybody who wishes to speak, just hit your unmute button and speak. It's up to you. You just gotta hit unmute and then you can speak.
Okay, hey, this is Andy Rice.
Hey, Andy.
You said you guys were meeting the contract talks. Did you have a proposal for them that you went in with, or?
Yes, Andy, thanks. The proposal we went in with was the same thing NYPD got. We want parity. We want the same thing that NYPD is getting, and let them come back and tell us what they're willing to deal with and what not they really deal with. Because I don't want to undermine us. If we want parity with NYPD, then my goal is to get as close or everything NYPD got. As far as raises, as far as everything, pension, discipline, whatever they got, we want parity with them. That's what the award gave us. So we're going to push as hard as we can to get that.
And I'm sorry, did you say you're meeting with Steve Banks?
Yes, we're meeting with OLR on Tuesday. We're meeting with OLR to discuss the negotiations and what we want, what they want. We made it very clear. We want parity. Now, how close they come to that, we don't know. But we're going to start there. That's what we want, and then let them come back, say what they don't want, and that's when the negotiations start.
Okay.
All right. Anybody from the board want to speak about anything before we move on?
Yeah, just I just wanted to add, you talked about the DCAS relationship that we're establishing. Just a reminder to everyone that when these new exams come up, it seems like DCAS is going to be having them online. And one of the good things about the exam is that, most exams have like 100 questions, and they've already explained to us that the exam is going to have less questions. So everybody may need to have some access to a computer. And the other good thing about the exams is that you'll know your score at the end of your exam. So that's kind of good because, sometimes you wait around for like a year or two before you find out your results. So those are some of the positive things. And DCAS has also said that we're going to be meeting with them so that we can see how the actual process is going to go, since it's, pandemic and everything has changed. So we will know the process, and we will be once again putting that information out to all the members. So that's some good stuff coming up with DCAS. So it's actually beneficial to the members who have to take like promotional exams and stuff like that, or even to the newcomers, any exam that you become eligible for. And the last thing on exams is those who paid for exams last year during pandemic will not have to repay for them again, but they probably will have to refile for the exam. So just keep those thoughts in mind. That's all I want.
Thank you. That's very important. She's absolutely right. I forgot that. Thank you, Olivia.
You're welcome.
Jaquan, I wanted to follow up on something that you had
go
spoken
ahead,
about. So for all members in regards to, and Jeff, as the Director of Political Affairs, may want to follow up in this conversation, is the fact that there are things in your contract that are not subject, such as retirement and your pension, that are not subject to contractual bargaining, that we are going to have to acquire legislatively. I think we want to state emphatically that we need people to be as active as possible. Some time ago, I had made attempts at having our attorneys form a political action fund for the union. As I know it has been tied up for some time with the IRS. We had actually acquired an EIN number for that over a year and a half ago, but we had not received the status for a nonprofit entity from the IRS as of yet. I want to let members know that in order for you to get where you want to go, or for us to get to where we want to go, we're going to have to become politically active. And under this administration, we have had very, very, very good conversations in regards to how we can be more politically active. I think LIBA in the past has tried this thing of standing alone, which maybe worked for some time. But as things have transpired, we find that we're going to have to go into a different direction. There's a new administration taking place. If I'm correct, there's about 35 city council seats that are going to be flipped. And we're going to have incoming city council members. Myself and Jeff will be, if you members have any inkling of individuals that you see in your city council district or in your state assembly district, congressional district, that you think could be of service in helping us, not just DEP or EPOs, but any of your fellow members, whether they be from Department of Sanitation, whether it be from Department of Transportation, help us legislatively, please let us know. And I implore you to, when the union calls for your assistance, to get out there with us and be active, as politically active as possible. It may require us knocking on doors. In some instances, it requires people supporting monetarily and or otherwise. But the only way we're going to get to that point where some of the other unions have, because most people, for people who don't know, LIBA is only 15 years old. We're still very young. We're still a toddler pretty much in labor years. Other unions have had the advantage of growing their membership and growing their political action war chest for 30, 40, 50, 60 years plus. And they have national organization and outlet for that kind of political outreach. Now, we could be as effective or even more effective if people were really dedicated to this. And once again, under the leadership of Jeff Hunter, our Political Action Affairs Director, I'm sure, more than sure, that we will accomplish great things in the political realm. But we need participation and commitment from individuals amongst the membership, and not just the board, but the membership as well. And we will go as far as we possibly can with this. But like I said, there's 35, if I'm correct, city council seats that are going to be overturned due to term limits. And that leaves a significant amount of leeway for us to get involved with those incoming races, build relationships with new people. A lot of new people.
I just want to add, when you finish, I just want to add one other thing.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah,
finish,
so
finish the thought.
that means that's a majority of the city council. It's about only 51 members of city council. That is a majority of city council will be able to influence it. Take it away, Jeff.
Okay, for those who don't know me, my name is Jeff Hunter. I'm a lieutenant with the Department of Sanitation. Sanitation enforcement, we have peace officers there too. It's only about 12 to 13 of us there. I'm the director of the Legislative Action Committee. We travel to Albany, Laquan and I and Ken, and we interact and try and maintain a good rapport with the assemblymen and the senators up in New York State. I'm currently trying to work out something with Al Taylor. He's the assemblyman in Harlem. He covers the 71st district. Him and I have been going back and forth. I deal with Carl Berberick, and a number of other assemblymen. And what Laquan said is true. I mean, if we're going to move LIBA forward, we have to have some kind of political alliance. Without that political alliance, it's going to be very difficult to move alone. And if you notice, this is what everybody's doing now. They have allies in Washington. They make sure that certain bills is getting passed, and then they get what they want. Well, it's no different with a smaller unit. In fact, it may be a little more difficult, but at least now we understand that that's the avenue that we have to go down. And so I think moving forward, I think we'll accomplish everything that we set out to accomplish. But definitely, we're going to need people. We're going to need more people in the Political Action Committee. Because I may not be able to connect with everybody in certain communities, but other individuals may, like DEP, DOT, sanitation. So just keep that thought. I mean, it's a tedious process. It's time consuming. It takes a lot of dedication. But at the end of the day, later on down the road, we'll even be going to some conferences that I have set up, where you can educate yourself, you can network, you interact. When I was the vice president of CWA, I was the chairman of the the legislative committee there, and I was going to a number of conferences, interacting. That's how I was able to build my political base. So just something to keep in mind. If you like politics, if you like interacting, if you like communicating, then submit your name, and then Laquan and I and Jaquan will interview you, and we see where you're at, and we move forward. So thank you for your time. Look forward to working with you guys.
Thanks, Jeff.
You're welcome.
One of the things that I want to make sure people understand, we have a mayoral election coming up soon. There may be a time when we call out for members to come out. Now, a lot of times LIBA have called on members to come out, and members came to a minimum. We can't keep doing that. A voice unheard is a voice unseen, and a voice that don't get acted upon. When we say, if we're coming out to support or address a particular candidate or whatever the case may be, we can't say, listen, the dog ate the homework, I can't make it. You have to make it. These things are, whether you want to deal with politics or not, you became part of politics when you took the job. That's just the natural reality of it. Whether we like it or not, we don't have to like it. We don't want to deal with it. But we're part of politics as soon as we take these jobs. And in order for us to be dealt with, our voices have to be heard. So we are working on something. I don't know if y'all are aware. We are in the process of introducing the Guardians, the Grand Council of Guardians, to some of the members. For those who know who the Grand Council of Guardians are, they are a big law enforcement organization that's recognized by the mayor, the governor, and their tentacles reach very far politically. And we're starting a chapter here in LIBA, which is spearheaded by EPOs, whether you know it or not. When the time comes, you'll know who the president is, but it's spearheaded by EPOs. And the reason being because they have to recognize that you are police officers. You put your life on the line every day. Listen, they can stop all the crack houses they want, but if nobody's protecting the waters, we all dead. And they have to understand that y'all played a very pivotal role in keeping the state of New York and the city of New York safe. So unfortunately, yeah, we have to get in there and do political wrestling. We're going to get in there. But when we call on you guys, we need you guys to come out. We need you to come out and support it. We're going to try to do as least as possible, but we want to do as much as we can to be effective. So with that being said, if anybody have any questions, I don't want to keep going. If anybody have any questions they want to add on, please do.
I have a question.
Sure.
Lambert, I work at a 7th precinct. I understand that a proposal with OLR will be this Tuesday to submit a proposal for the contract. I know the city works slow, but when can we expect a response? And then I have another question also.
Okay.
As far as supporting the cause and everything like that, it seems like pretty much the members across the boards are divided. How do you plan on getting everybody in order for us to come together? What's your plan on getting everybody to support LIBA itself? Because as I said, it seems like half the department is divided as far as support.
Yes, thank you for that question. I'm gonna answer the first one, but that second one, I love it. Well, yes, we're gonna meet with them on Tuesday, and the proposal that we submitted basically was NYPD MOA contract, and we want to come, or we want to be comparable to that, or come as close as we possibly legally can. We want to make sure that members have a thriving future here, and they understand the severity of the position we have. So we're gonna, I don't think it's gonna be such a big fight. It's just articulating what we need, and I think we're gonna move that forward. So that's the starting base is NYPD contract. Now, as far as building a division between everybody, at the end of the day, I strongly feel this is my vision. My vision is everybody want to be respected. Everybody want what's due to them. Everybody wants to make sure that they have proper representation, proper um, uh, benefits for their families. And that's what we're trying to do. And that's what we're doing, actually. We're trying to get things back on track. I can't do it alone. Yolanda can't do it alone. It's going to take all of us. We cannot be divisive like that. We have to come together. If they see a house divided, they know we can fall. So when people say things about negative about LIBA, we welcome your advice. I love your question. We welcome your advice. If you come and say, well, hey, did we try this? If it's something we tried, it doesn't do anything to me to say, yes, we tried that. We try something else. It's called brainstorming. That's what we do. There's no big I's and little U's. We are open to any suggestion. So right now we're dealing with attorneys to deal with the city. We ourselves got to deal internally and let members know, instead of being in opposition to us, add on. I said it from the first meeting, I have an open door policy. If they want to call, they have concerns, please call me. Let's sit down and talk about it. We might have the same idea, but just different ways of getting there. We can find a mutual way to come together. There's no big I's and little U's. There's no man is an island. Together, we will reach that finish line. And that's what I want these people who are in opposition to understand. They can come forward. They can talk to us. We can devise a methods of moving forward that's in the best interest of all members. It can't not be personal agendas. We're not here to satisfy someone's personal agenda, but we're here to satisfy the agenda that affects in a positive way all of our membership.
Can I just say this? I just want to touch on this one thing too. Another thing too, what we come across is it's me, Milan, and Persa. We basically represent the members for sanitation. And what we find out is that a lot of members, I mean, this is just for those who are considering becoming delegates. It's important that you emphasize on your members when they're wrong. You have to let them know that they're wrong. Not to say that you're not going to give them the best representation possible, but you still have to let them know that we're here because of something that you did against the department policy and procedure. That's very, very important. And at the same time, of course, you want to give 100, 200%. And that's important. I just want to touch on that. Another thing is, I can honestly say when we were a part of CWA, they say CWA being that they were part of the so-called establishment and they were into like the status quo, they wasn't willing to go against the grain. So when we were able to vote CWA out and brought LIBA in, now yes, I'm a representative of LIBA, but LIBA wasn't always what it is right now. I grew with them, and that's I can honestly say that. But at the same time, Lieber got us to arbitration. Lieber filed an EEOC complaint against the department, meaning a class action suit about to come on behalf of sanitation because of the institutional discrimination. So I can say that Lieber is willing to spend the money because it's our money as members that they're spending to get us what we deserve. And so I have no doubt that DEP is going to eventually get what NYPD gets. Otherwise, they'll take legal action.
I just wanted to follow up on that. Because Jaquan, so my understanding was that Lieber had done I think about 6 or 7 rounds of bargaining, and we're about to enter into arbitration before the pandemic hit. And then back in, I forget when it was, in April, when we had another meeting, we were told that we're not going into arbitration, that a lawsuit was going to be filed. But now we're talking about going back into negotiations. I'm unclear on whether we were, because we had gotten to a point where we were going to go into arbitration.
I wasn't speaking in terms of DEP. I was telling you more or less about sanitation.
I'm talking about DEP. Yeah.
All right.
No.
Let me answer this. Let me answer that. Yes. Another good question. Yeah, the city proposed to us about another round of arbitration. We're not stupid. We're not going to arbitrate something we already got a decision on. I don't know where they thought they was going to get us to go into an arbitration that's fixed when we already got a decision. We're not doing that. We're moving forward with the arbitration decision that we have. Yeah, it was up in the air because there was a lot going on. They didn't know which way it's going. This is our position of the administration today. We're not going to another arbitration. We're starting right where we left off at with negotiations. We want parity. Parity may not be always to the penny of monetary gain, but it's parity as far as we get the same.
Actually, parity is exactly the same. It's not an interpretation. Parity means actually what's in column A will be in column B.
Well, that's let me explain to you. That's not actually so. Parity is dependent on. All right. For example, if you look at your arbitration award, it says economic agreement. Am I right? Did you see it?
Yeah.
All right. It says economic agreement, right?
Right. That's different than what the decision was. I got that.
No. The decision is based on economic agreement. Believe me, we've been dealing with this every day. I want you to read it carefully. And I just had this discussion with the attorneys. It says economic agreement. And it claims that what it states rather is that you will get the same parity as NYPD. It doesn't say money. It says rate. Now, I don't want to get deep into it, but I want you to understand. When you look at parity, parity means you want to be equal to exactly what they get. Equal means it says in rate. It doesn't say in pay, because that's the first thing I looked at, looking at everything from the MOA to the arbitration decision. It's parity based on rate. Now, what that actually means, if NYPD got an 11% raise, you're entitled to 11% raise. That don't mean you go to where they at financially. You get 11% based on what you got. Now, it's going to take some time to bring that money equal. If it's 100,000, it's going to take time to get you to 100,000. As long as we're dealing with the rate, if they say 11%, we bring it up. Now, honestly, I didn't want to get into all of this. How we reach that, we start adding on little things that we want that adds up to that same amount. But that's something that's very deep, and I don't want to get too much into it.
Okay, well, for instance, it's been pretty much known that the tasers and body cameras are going to be implemented in the not too distant future.
Right.
I don't know if that's going to be part of
absolutely
contract talks. But.
Absolutely. When they start adding stuff on, guess what? The rate goes up. Anything that's an add-on, that's why it's called an add-on. When you start saying you're going to deal with cameras, you're going to start doing this. Okay, let's look at what the police department get for that. We got to start adding all of that stuff on. What we're trying to do right now is establish a base to make sure that they understand that you are in parity when it comes to rates. How we work the money to get to the point where we need to be is going to be based on our strategy of how we get it there. Because we're not going to walk in, it's not going to happen when we walk in and they're going to give us all that money. We'll be sitting in court for the next 10 years, going back and forth. And then a new administration come in. Then they put new lawyers on it. Then they ask for this time and they ask for this time. Our goal is to make sure we get everything that you're entitled to right now, and move that forward. Are you going to know what it is? Absolutely. Because when we discuss it, we're going to give it out to the members. We're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about different things, and it's got to be ratified. I will not insult members, because like I asked the city, do not insult me or the members. I'm sorry, that was the phone. I asked them, do not insult me or the members. You know, I haven't been doing this for a short time. I've been doing this for like over 30 years. And, you know, don't insult my intelligence. And they agreed that they won't. So let's see what they come back with Tuesday before we jump too far ahead. Basically, if they insult us, we're not accepting it. They got to come, hopefully they'll come with something reasonable. It's been, they have an arbitration case that's in our decision, that's in our favor. And we have a contract that's, oh my goodness, hold on 1 second.
I think he forgot he left his food on the stove, y'all. Hold on.
I wanted to follow up on something that Jaquan was speaking about, and the question that the lieutenant had about the department being divided. Divisions or divisiveness, whether anybody knows this or not, or whether anybody acknowledges this, is a part of American culture and fabric. We are divided on many levels. But one thing that we could all reflect on is that people have self-interest. And we could all agree that is in the best interest of EPOs in this particular circumstance to aid the union in its fight against the city. Because if you don't, and those individuals, whether it be 50% of the department, 30% of the department, whatever percentage of that is, what it equals to is mutually assured destruction or failure. I don't think anybody, I don't think anybody is willing, because of their hatred or dislike of the union, because the union is not here to be liked. The union is here to fight for fringe benefits and wages and economic packages that help assist its membership live a wonderful life. So you don't really have to like the union, right? The union has a specific function in the labor industry. But if you don't support the union, and that, you get what I'm saying? You will assure that you will fail in that endeavor to become or live a better life. And I don't think anybody wants to go against their own self-interest unless your hatred is that strong, right? Because nobody wants to co-opt a movement to enable you to put food on your table, right? Send your children to college, purchase a home, because that's what unions have done for many other people in this country. Help put dollars in their pocket, so then you can circulate those dollars into the economy so you can have a better life. So yes, there will be division, and it will continue to be. I don't really, because there's a lot of underlying factors that go into that division. This just didn't start yesterday. It didn't start with what happened with Kenneth Wine.
And like you said, even with regards to sanitation, 831, which is sanitation Teamster, they have the best union in the city, and a lot of those members is not happy with that union. And that's the only union where those members get paid every week. Every week, it's the only city agency where those unions where they get. So 831 is a very strong union. That's the sanitation workers, but even the members is not completely happy with them. 444 the same way. So sometimes you're just not going to be happy with everything, but as long as the union is working on your behalf, you really don't have anything to lose and everything to gain.
Listen up, guys. I just want to say this. We got about We got about 2 more minutes, but I want to make sure we get all the questions in. So let's try to open it up for questions so we can make sure we get all most as many questions answered. We can add on afterwards. Do any of the members have any questions about anything? Please, Devon, could you unmute them?
Basically, all they have to do is hit unmute and speak.
Okay.
Just hit unmute and speak.
All right. Is there any questions?
Hello, I do have
There
a
you go.
question. I'm a DPO.
We can't.
My name is Officer Zapata from Eastview. Hello?
Right.
We hear you.
Yeah, so, yeah, I'm Officer Zapata. I'm pretty much new in DEP. And I joined LIVA pretty much as soon as I started in February. But I have a question regardless, pretty much something that happened to me. I recently have a baby, and I contact human resources because they told me when I get hired, anything that you need, please contact human resources. So I contact human resources about my maternity leave. Human resources say that we have 2 types of family leave, and they told me as one that I can be used my own time, and I can keep my benefits, and the other one is I will pay 67%. As a matter of fact, in the website of DEP, they entitled to use the second one because everybody in DEP is entitled to use this leave. So what I did is that now he's a DI. I filled everything with the human resources. And she told me to use this one. I need the baby fingerprint. I sent the fingerprint when the baby was born. And that afternoon, they contacted me. And they told me I cannot use that leave that the DEP paid 67%, which is most of the city agencies have, because LIVA didn't sign the agreement. So pretty much, for personal purposes, I used my leave 2 weeks ago because I have a medical with my mother. So pretty much, I'm in my house without leave because they say LIVA never signed any of the agreement to get paid medical leave or family leave. So pretty much, I'm entitled to use my regular leave, but my regular leave is just a vacation. I'm using my own time, so I'm not really getting any pay since I'm with my wife.
Okay.
So I want to know exactly what's going on with that part because the email that I get say that LIVA never signed for me to get this benefit.
Just to answer that very quickly, LIVA doesn't have to sign anything. That is a federal law under the Family Medical Leave Act. Whoever told you that is lying. What I would suggest you do is you get in touch with us and we'll connect you to the attorney, and the attorney will handle that because under the federal law, you are entitled to Family Medical Leave Act. It got nothing to do with all that other stuff, fingerprints. I never heard of that. And if someone's asking you for fingerprints, they're violating the legislative law of the federal government and state government and city government. That sounds ironic. So you need to get in touch with us as soon as possible. We connect you with our attorneys, and our attorneys will address your issue.
Okay. Yeah, they say that because we belong to the agencies to get benefits, they have to be signed by unions first.
No, that's
and they also show me that LIVA actually signed this for another agency.
No, that's contractual agreement, a MOA, a memorandum of agreement that we agree upon. Federal law supersedes all of that. There's no reason why DOT needs the union to implement a federal law. None whatsoever. So somebody's playing games, but that's okay. Unfortunately, I'm sorry you had to go through that, but you get in touch with us. We connect you with the attorneys. The attorneys will address that issue as soon as possible.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Any other questions?
Hey, how you doing? My name is Jesse Ryan. I work up at the Eastview Precinct. I just wanted to bring something up in regards to what Officer Zapata was talking about, because I had the same issue years back with my child when they were born. Basically, in New York State, they passed a law along with the federal that they were going to follow it in regards to giving people paid maternity leave. When you have a child, you can get paid time off. Now, when that came about, I believe we were already in a contractual agreement with the city during that time period. The second part to that is that the law had a little, like, I don't know the professional term, but I'll just call it an asterisk in the law, where basically if you had a contractual agreement with a city, state, local government in New York State, that paid time off leave does not apply to you, and you have to fight it contractually to get it. And that was something that was done where all these employees in New York had to now fight for that. And unfortunately, I believe the circumstances were we were already in a contract. And I think what needs to be brought forward is that people are asking that we want that paid time leave for us when we have maternity leave. We do get FMLA, it's just not paid like other employees of New York State. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And from my understanding, that law has been passed that you get paid leave for maternity leave based on, sometimes they want you to have 12 months of you active and working and whatever the criteria is. But again, that's why, before I jump out the window without a parachute, based on what I believe, we will connect you to our attorneys who can articulate the legalities behind that and resolve this problem, because under federal law and state law, contracts don't supersede that. Actually, they supersede if it's a mandate by the federal government or federal or state. It's law, and just because it's an agency, they cannot supersede law. But I would rather you talk to the attorneys who can better articulate the details into that, and I'm quite sure we can come to some type of consistency or resolution to this matter.
Well, Jaquan, I know with sanitation, you can take like a child care leave up until I think like 5 years, but the city won't pay you for that. I mean, you'll get paid if you have time on the books, but after your time run out on the books, the city won't pay you. But you can be out for up to 5 years.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah,
but
and with the FMLA, they use your time, but like you said, you have to work a certain, I think it is like 6 to 8 months or 12 months. Otherwise, they even cut you off for that too.
Yes, so that's why I want to before I jump out the window, I want to let the lawyers look at this, because there's other issues surrounding this. I don't know everyone's individual situation, and I don't want to air it here.
Right.
There may be circumstances that that helps you or prevents you. I don't know, and I don't want to air your information out here. So I would rather connect you with the attorney, and you can go over the personal issues with him, and he can tell you legally where you stand and what you can and cannot do.
Where does the DEP police stand as far as the pension goes?
As far as the pension goes, right now we're lobbying with different politicians. That's why this year is going to be very, very, very important. And Laquan touched on it. It's very important that we look at city council, we look at mayors, we look at senators, and we look at assemblymen, like Jeff Hunter said. That's how we're going to get it. We have to, this is not something we negotiate. This is something that has to be legislatively agreed upon. We have to work with these politicians, get them to understand who we are, what we do, to agree to it, to bring it to the table, to get it first introduced in assembly or whatever, and get it passed, and then we can have it on the table for an election. Once I believe that once we get it on the table, we can get it passed, but we just got to go through these different obstacles of dealing with politicians. Unfortunately, politics play a role in everything. But I feel confident that we can get it done once we get past all this other stuff. There's other things we're dealing with the benefits and the negotiations. We get past that, we can sit with these lobbyists and we can talk to them and try to push this issue and get it done fairly soon. I believe so. That's what we stand like with the retirement. Okay. Anybody else want to ask a question? I understand if you don't remember a question now, you can still pose it to us later. We'll answer it. But please, if you have any questions, the only dumb question is the one that's not asked. So if we don't have the exact answer, we definitely will get back to you. But if you have a question, please feel free to ask it. Listen, a union is not a union without you. Other than that, we're just some people sitting there just running our mouths.
On the parity. Hello?
Yes.
On the parity. So what I got from that was that we're just trying to close the gap.
Yes.
Not actually getting the parity, but trying to get as close as we can to it, so that way we could fight for the rest.
On a beautiful day, they would just accept complete parity when it comes to wages and everything. And that would be a beautiful day. But as you know, the city is going to fight us, and we got the arbitration award, so they're going to nitpick that award to their favor. We're going to say, no, we want this, we want everything. They're going to say, no, you're entitled to this. And we're going to go back and forth. But meantime, first thing we want to do is secure that everybody has a living wage and we can inch up the ladder, so to speak, where we can start getting things that we really need. Meanwhile, behind the scenes, we're still fighting for complete parity.
So we're going to try to get as close as we can on this first one, right?
Oh, absolutely. I want it all.
Because then after that, pattern bargaining falls into effect then.
Well, no, not necessarily. You're going to be treated as similar as uniformed services, as police department. So we will not fall into a civilian pattern, but we're somewhere in between. My goal, or our goal as the board, is to get you everything. But I don't want you to sit around for 10 years without nothing. So we're going to try to get the best that we can get, fight tooth and nail, get the best, and whatever, if we can't get it just by negotiations, behind the scenes, we could still move forward with an improper practice or whatever we feel that's necessary once I talk to the legal team to obtain that parity. Now, when we say parity, we got to be careful. They're saying you get the same rates as NYPD. But we're talking about salary. We're talking about pensions. We're talking about sick time. We're talking about all these different things. We want the same thing they get. Like we got line of duty. They got unlimited sick. Right. So we got to inch our way up because they're not going to give us the whole shit caboodle in one drop. They're not going to do it. That's something we have to talk to the new incoming mayor, and hopefully we can build a relationship with this new incoming mayor, whoever it's going to be, that if we get the right person in office, 99.9% of our problems go away.
Awesome.
That's the bottom line. I hope did I answer your question?
No, that was good. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're more than welcome. Anybody else have any questions about anything moving forward or anything you want to just bring to our attention?
I believe some people under the disbelief that LIBA holds the bargaining chip to the DEP police.
They feel that we what? I'm sorry?
That LIBA doesn't own the bargaining chip for them.
Well, when you say owns the bargaining chip, I'm not sure what you're saying. I don't want to assume what you mean.
Well,
what do you mean?
That LIBA is the one that has to do the bargaining with the city for us.
Okay, well, like we said earlier, we submitted what NYPD got. That's our proposal. I mean, we can't go above that. We went with what that is. So we saying we want the same thing as what NYPD get. It's up to them.
That's not what he's
saying.
Jay.
What are you saying? Well, explain to me. Maybe I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Yolanda.
No, you go ahead.
Okay, I'm saying that they don't believe that LIBA is the union to bargain for us.
Members don't believe that LIBA holds the bargaining certificate for EPO.
Certificate, yeah.
Oh, okay. Why is that?
I have no idea.
The city would not even entertain talking to us.
Anyone else?
Yeah, they would not. Okay, I'm glad. Okay, now I get it. Okay, let's clear the air with that. The city would not take time and effort and money and anything in negotiating with a group that don't have the bargaining certificate. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. we officially, effectively, legally, and any other kind of way have the certificate to bargain for EPOs. No one else does. SBA, the PBA, no one has that authority. The city wouldn't even sit with them. They can't even call the city and inquire about EPOs. They can't do that.
Okay. So
Right.
that's where the division comes in, because they're under that belief. So somebody need to make it straight to them on black and white and paper that this is the story.
Right.
You understand?
Got
right.
you.
It needs to be clear, because they're messing everything up.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm glad you brought that
That's
topic
Luke.
up. And you will.
That's Luke Jaquan.
Hey, Luke.
First for Luke.
Yeah, how
All
you
right.
doing, man?
I'm all right. Yeah, we will make that clear that no other group have no collective bargaining certificate or ability to say anything. Right now, any group or anybody that says anything, they're what we call locker room lawyers. They're just talking from the side.
Okay.
The city don't even hear them. They have no legal boundaries or anything. And it's
Or
a
maybe
shame.
they could be working on that other entity, trying to, do what they want to do.
Well,
to cause
listen,
havoc.
Well, that's true, but I'm trying to get a mansion and a yacht, and I don't see that happening.
Right.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Listen, you could want what you want, but what it is what it is. Yeah, there's people that feel that other people may have their best interests, but people don't even know how this works. It's important that people understand how they always say that the person in the room with the loudest mouth have the least action. People come and people say what they can do because they're not in a position to do. So everybody's gonna offer you everything, a mansion and a yacht, the bridge with the water underneath. But at the same time, they're not in a position to offer themselves anything. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm saying that to be honest. The city would not be sitting and taking time to talk to the LIBA executive board if somebody else had the certificate. So that's emphatically, undoubtedly not happening.
Okay.
We have it. We're negotiating with them. End of story. End of story.
All right.
Jay is 716.
I'm sorry, Yolanda, you said something?
It's 716.
Explain that, please. Or let me know what you're talking about.
The time.
All right. Yeah, we get okay. So I just want to make sure, but I wanted to give everybody an opportunity to ask their questions. I don't want nobody to leave. If we have any questions, you can still ask. If you don't have any questions, I don't want to hold everybody time. It's a Sunday. Everybody with their family, they're gonna eat dinner. But if you have a question, please feel free to ask. If you think of it later, you can reach out to us on the website or get in touch with Yolanda. You can talk to her, myself, Laquan, personally, and we will answer your questions.
The meeting has been recorded, so you guys can, let it out for people who missed it, who couldn't get on. They could go on the LIBA.org website and they could look at the meeting from tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
So with that being said, if there's no questions, we're going to adjourn this meeting. We have a newsletter coming out. Hopefully everybody be getting the newsletter. We've been sending out the newsletter to try to keep you updated as much as possible. We strongly believe in transparency, and we feel that you have a right and you deserve to know everything that's going on. And we're here to assist and give you any information moving forward.
Yes, I like the communication so far. I like it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
So with that being said,
well, everybody
night,
have
y'all.
a good night.
Yes.
All right. Good night.
And
Take
thanks
care.
for coming on.
Stay safe.
Good night,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
Yeah, right, John.
All right, Barry White. Good night. Good night. What's his name?
Doesn't sound like
All right, good night.
All right. Good night.
that.